Namaste. So today on the eve of New Year, we take up a prayer of the Mother on how we should enter into the New Year. But before that, just a couple of questions. One is the historicity, how the New Year celebration started in the ashram. So in the 30s, it started, and it was, at midnight of the preceding year, the mother would play an organ music, after which there will be a meditation, after which people will go and have her darshan. She would bless, keeping her hand on their head, and there would be a silent communication. They would come back. So the place kept changing. It used to be in the meditation room. Then you have when you go up to the stairs, when you have to climb to Sri Aurobindo's room, then you turn to the right. For Sri Aurobindo's room, you turn to the left for mother's room. But there is a room right in the landing, right? So that's where mother used to sit on New Year Day. And then this continued for some time. Then in 1937 onwards, because World War had broken, World War II, and things were very serious. Late night, they used to be not only awake, they were working on the world forces, Mother and Sri Aurobindo. So from 39 onwards, 1939 onwards, the timing shifted. It also shows how they were not rigid about anything. So the timing shifted to 6 o'clock in the morning, which is the present timing. So again, 6 o'clock, the mother would, it would be with the music, and now mother would greet them with a bonani. So that's how it started. And mother has spoken so much about the word bonani, in the sense, she said, for example, when I say bonani, if you say these greetings with a deep feeling inside your heart, there is a whole talk on this. And there is a day when, in 1969, 50 years back, she said, I felt like saying bonani to everyone. Even on a bonfire, she wants to say bonfire to everyone. So if we utter the same words, we wish each other Happy New Year, bonane, jo bhi, whatever language, we can do it mechanically, or we can do it with deep feeling. Now, when we do it with deep feeling, it's like something collective which goes into the atmosphere. So that is the logic why 1st January was used in the ashram, because people ask that, no, in India you have this January, that April. In India you have many New Years, by the way. So why 1st January? Because people start associating it with the Western calendar. All right. Whichever day you start New Year will be a convention. It is, people have just collectively decided. The New Year could be on 1st April. Right? Probably accounts people celebrate it like that. 31st March is the account closing. From 1st April, you can start making fool, everybody. So probably it's the April Fool Day, and you can start. No, people have to agree. That's all. Now, this agreement, we have to understand there is nothing sacrosanct that on this day it should be celebrated. As humanity has evolved, as many layers have come, things have changed, and that's how the New Year has changed. Maybe in coming years, you will see that New Year has shifted to, who knows, 29th February 1956 or 1st March. It may happen. Or Mother's birthday. It's a question of a convention, or based on some real event. Now, but the fact is that most of humanity, as of today, does associate 1st January with some kind of a New Year greeting. So that means everybody in that mode, people are, looking forward. Even those who believe that 14th January or 14th April or whatever date, even they, on 1st January, there will be some exchange, some greeting. So because it's a collective convention, collective conventions have a great force. Everybody that day is in a New Year mode. Now the mother used these tendencies in human beings, these common actions, and gave them a deeply spiritual turn and lifted it to a great height. So that is the way mother worked. Any smallest thing where there was a possibility of change, she would use it. So often people ask, why is Christmas celebrated in the ashram? For this very reason. It started with, we had a video, first of all, it's not an ashram which is a Hindu ashram or a Christian ashram. None of these things. It's an ashram that is beyond religions. Of course, we say that Hinduism comes from Sanatana Dharma, which is beyond religion by its own nature. Whereas other religions have lost their spiritual element and have become encrusted. But it started with one of the Christian ladies who wanted to, on 25th December, she wanted to distribute some cake to some people. Then after a few years, when mother came to know, she said, why don't you do it to all the children? So then that's how it started. So it started in her house. Then it shifted later on. See, again, no fixity. When Pranabda saw it, he said, oh, this is very nice. So why don't we have some program in playground? So Christmas celebration shifted to playground. So it became like a festivity. Then later on, when more crowd joined in, so it shifted to theater. But the mother knew key. People will start associating it later, backward thinking it's like Christianity. No. So she said basically this day was celebrated much before Christianity came into existence. It's the day of the return of the light. We as Hindus, I know we used to celebrate it as Bada Din. In my home, there used to be those sweet meats which were prepared. And Bada Din. Why Bada Din? Because from 22nd or 23rd December, the sun goes in Uttarayan, ascendant. So it's the day of the return of light. So she lifted it back to its origin. Actually, if you see, she transmuted it. That no, it is not just about it. Actually, this event has nothing to do with Christ. But yes, people associate it. Like we also, Saraswati Puja. Why is it in Vasant Panchami? Was that day when Saraswati ji was born? No, it's because she is the goddess of manifold knowledge. So, Vasant is the day when all the Srishti is filled with Shringar. It's going to be filled. It's a kind of manifold activities, the creative activities in nature, impulsion in nature. So, you have Vasant Panchami, which is the onset of spring. But which is the last day of the goddess is Kali Puja, which is on Amavasya. So see, it's symbolic. So in ancient times, people used to use these celestial events to mark or bring the collectivity together in some kind of a common aspiration. So the New Year day or any such event but the mother would always change it, like, on Kali Puja day, it's not like burst crackers and light up. That's not important. The important part was that people went and invoked the goddess Kali. She would say something about in a conversation, 2-3 days back, Kali had come and this is her action. She would illumine us, make us understand what it means to worship Kali or what it means to worship Lakshmi. Who is she? So this is how we have to understand that on New Year Day, she brought in that spiritual element because people were anyways following it as a convention. And of course, human beings are the same everywhere. So even her children would say, okay, New Year, let us go and celebrate the usual way. So she said, no, this is the way to celebrate. So in everything to bring in the touch of the sublime and the sacred is mother's action. And so then later on what used to happen, she would give a message card. Along with Bonani, when she withdrew, then a message card would come and it would be distributed. Earlier she used to give by her own hand and she would wish everyone Bonani. And it would take long. And then later on, the card was distributed and she would greet with a New Year music. Now here again, there is something very interesting. Now in the New Year music, if you see what are the possibilities of music, how she has created new impulsions. Music you can lift to the ultimate is ragas. Okay, in Indian thought or Western classical. Then is there anything beyond it? Now beyond it, there is a possibility that with these ragas, you need not only get joy inside and set your rhythms out, within, heal your body, but you can actually conquer celestial elements. That is how it was Deepak Rag and Varsha Rag, supposedly. She took it to next level. You can bring down the gods. So mother's music is a way where through music, through the nad, through the swara, here it is not swara so much as nad, you actually bring down the gods by tuning into their rhythm. In fact, she has broken free from the raga because it's pain song of the free infinite. So she has created music which you can't fit into either Western classical or the Indian ragas, but she has brought something which brings down the gods. And with that, she would dedicate, the first moments of the new year, and there would be a message. The message was usually something which she has foreseen about the year, or something which she is cautioning us. Like the classical example is when at the end of 1954, 1955, 1st January, she gave a message. And there she says, no human will can finally prevail against the divine will. And she also, in her conversations, she says the next 14 months are going to be very difficult. Exactly after 14 months, we see the supermind had descended. So she was cautioning people, the next 14 months, the Asura is going to assault you like anything. When we come near to something new, that's the time you face the maximum assault of the forces. Because they don't want it to happen. But then eventually, no human will can finally prevail against the divine will. put yourself deliberately on the side of the divine and the victory is certain. So she would give these messages. Some of these messages are so far-seeing. Men, countries, continent, the choice is imperative, truth or the abyss. The hour of God. Are you ready? You feel she has given these messages 50 years back. You feel, oh, looks like yesterday she has given for this year or the previous year she gave this message. Men, countries, continents, the choice is imperative, truth or the abyss. So these messages were very, very, far-seeing. They were also for the year and they were also something for mankind. So this is the context in which the new year greeting started. But the bhava behind it, the spirit behind it, how we should celebrate the new year. Now it's a day when everybody is in this mode that past we are leaving behind. This is a common mode. Whether now a very analytical mind will say it doesn't matter. It's a convention. Yes. What is the difference between 31st December and 1st January? It's another day. This is the way analytical mind will say. But there is something which overrides the analytical mind. It doesn't take into account that everybody on 1st January is having this collective aspiration, at least a wish, at least a faith or belief or whatever, that, oh, things will be better. Already you see in WhatsApp, no? That as if, now whether Corona goes or not, but this is a powerful element in human nature which the analytical mind is unable to see. It is formations. The entire thing will be a buzz. 2021. If you see one way, there is no such reality. Time is eternally unfolding. But since human mind works in a certain way, she is using it for our own good. So I'll read this prayer, January 1st, 1914. But before that, there is a prayer dated December 29th, 1913, where she uses the word collective convention. O Lord, grant that this collective convention of the end of the year, nobody says that don't celebrate on 14 January also. Celebrate every day a new year. But Shobinda was asked that, we on 15th August we celebrate your birthday. But I think every day we should treat as your birthday. He said, yes. Same with your own birth. Every day you can have a new birth. Why not? Every moment. But because there are times when, because of the way cyclical rhythms work or human mind works, it helps us. So it is a moment when, because it's in the air, it helps. But yes, every day we can have new year and nobody stops us from that. So she is using the word collective convention of the end of the year, maybe for us an opportunity for finishing at once with the whole mass of ties and attachments, illusions and weaknesses that have no longer any reason for existence in our life. See, this is called changing the whole sheet. So the mother in one of her conversations describes, people often come and say, I have this defect and weakness, how do I work on it? I have this anger issue, what do I do about it? I have this problem of attachment, what do I do about it? But this is not how it is done in mysticism. She says, one Muslim mystic told her, most likely it's Inayat Ali Khan. So mystic told her that instead of washing the stains one by one, you change the chadar. And this is also change the sheet. Now this is also there in the story of Hercules. One of the 7 tasks of Hercules is clean the Aegean stables. So there are 1,000 horses. So you start cleaning one horse. By the time you reach the 1,000 horse, the first one has made it dirty again. So it was one of the 7 impossible tasks. So, but Hercules, that's mine. Okay. So what does he do? He is a smart boy. So he goes and there is a river edges running around. He changes its stream and the stream comes and washes all the 1,000 horses clean in one go. So every day all that he needed was a mechanism by which the waters can be directed here. So this is the process in yoga. The process is not let me pick up this, work on this, let me pick up that, work on that. You will have a lifetime working and you will feel very frustrated. The process is a change of consciousness. What we were just discussing before this, that when you find the psychic being, otherwise, I have this doubt, let me, try to analytical master it, let me try with this faith or that belief, it will come back again. But if you open the door of the psychic, there is a reversal of consciousness. The whole consciousness changes. Then you don't have doubt. Why? Because you suddenly have a light in which you know. It's very difficult to explain that experience. Suddenly it vanishes. Bhidyanti hridagranthi, chidyanti sarva sanshaya. It goes away. As the sun comes out and clouds disperse. So it's like that. And then if you ask, how did it go? Well, it went, sun came out, that's it. No, what was the mechanism and the process? It's the nature of the sun. So that's what she is reminding us at once. Not that, I am attached to this person, please free me. I am this, in this area I have this problem. Entire, clean. We must at each moment shake off the past like falling dust, so that it may not soil the virgin path, which also at each moment opens before us. So at every moment, we can recreate our life. This is something very beautiful about, Mother's saying. She says, you can actually invoke the grace, and at each moment it can lean down and completely erase the past. And this is an experience which many sadhaks have. So she says, several times I remove, but people just call it back again. And yet she says, if you have the faith and persist, the divine will do it 1,000 times. But then you have to persevere. You have to be, But it can be done in a moment. See, what is there before grace? When in one of her talks she says, what value your weaknesses, your stumblings, your errors have before the divine? And then she says, you know why they are there? It is because of lack of faith. So she says, you will ask, how is it connected with faith? She says, because you don't trust that wisdom, that power, I remember once, I think it was Navjatji's one of the talks where he says, you can tell the divine, if I am the worst case in the world, you are the best healer. And you can take, if I am not the worst case, then surely you have healed many like me. I am like... So this faith that the divine power is not like some human power castigating us, chastising us, condemning us, damnation. No. In fact, even what we call as damnation, as Sri Aurobindo says, if God created hell, it would be an act of love. There is a perfect wisdom, but from our side we can open to it. If we open, all errors will drop away and they will no more have power to hold us back. This there in the previous prayer. And then that prayer we have done at another time, so I am not... May our errors recognized and repaired within us be no longer anything else than vain mirages, incapable of producing any consequences. Vain mirages. That is the power that the Divine Mother brings. That it will appear, oh, I was like this, really. And when you look back, you realize that yes, how she has changed you. So then we come to the main prayer, January 1st, 1914. To thee, she's addressing to the divine. Now, how we address the divine is important, because how we address is our faith. Supposing we say, O thou who art justice incarnate, please forgive me for my sins. You say, okay, today done, tomorrow. So then you will see people all the time catching their ears and doing good bad. So it reminds me of that Sri Ramakrishna story. So why do they do every morning? Because night they have committed fresh sins. So morning again they have to do this. Why this approach to the divine? There is another way of approaching him. So she is saying to thee, because you have limited your faith, remove the tendency of sin. And behind that tendency also there is a truth. Bring out that truth. Make the crooked straight. This is such a wonderful phrase. That which is crooked is a distortion of some truth. Bring out that truth, make the crooked straight. Not that I'll commit a sin and you forgive me. Tomorrow again I'll commit, you forgive me. Then at the end you will say, God, where do I stand? Nothing. Your score is 0. Every night you committed a sin, every morning you ask for forgiveness. So she says, to thee, she's addressing the divine. Supreme dispenser of all boons. Look at it. Power. Majesty, puissance, supreme dispenser of all boons. To thee who justifiest life by making it pure, beautiful, and good. Otherwise, life has no meaning without the divine. Plain speak. If there is no divine, life has no hope. Or if you say divine is out there and he is only there to punish us, then who created us? But the moment you say that divine is there, then there is hope. So he justifies life, the effort of life towards perfection, towards progress. Master of our destinies. So beautiful. Man carries on himself the burden of, his fate. I am the one. Oh, I did wrong. I must have done some sin. So God says, is this your belief? It is written in some book and some Pandiji was saying. Okay, fine. As is our belief. But here she is saying, you are the master of our destinies. There is a much later, the mother speaks of it. Says, every time when there is a problem, you just say to Sri Aurobindo, I give it to you. What do we know? We don't even understand life. We don't understand nature. So she says, master of our destinies and goal of our aspirations. Now that doesn't mean that we do nothing. We have to aspire always for more beauty, more light, more truth in whatever we are doing. And yet we know that the ultimate last shot is called by him. So we must aspire always for more beauty, more purity, more good. To thee was consecrated the first minute of this new year. How beautiful this is. And you will hear 1st January 0000 WhatsApp messages filling your ton. Don't rush into that. Stay quiet. Consecrate the coming year, the day, everything to her. Just imagine, to thee consecrated the first minute of this year. Just if this we can do, imagine how life would change. People start calling up, then they start bursting cracker. Poor divine is lost in all that. He has come, koi mujhe bhi wish karo. People are dressing like Santa, they are dressing like Benta. Whatever, they are moving around. What is this joker? I mean, it's really, if you look at it, it's a joke. It's okay for fun, it's okay for children, kids stuff. But when you grow up, how long will you play this game? A time comes when you grow up, you stop playing with the mud and you want to play with the stars. You don't want to, you're not happy, okay, I am going to travel to, how many times you have been to New York? Oh, number of times, wonderful. No, you must want to travel to galaxies. Far beyond avenues of light. That should be man. So here she is saying, to thee was consecrated the first minute of the year. And then she is praying, what is the aspiration? We are all praying Corona chala jaye. What is this? It doesn't matter. Death will come, find its door. Another, what was that? New strain has come already. He has already started showing up. He says, Acha, I am there, in the background. That's not the thing we should. There's very small things. Humanity has faced countless such challenges. The real thing is, may it be wholly glorified by this consecration. When we consecrate, it gets glorified. Why? Because the glory of the Lord is added. We connect ourselves to that glory. The mother says, when you surrender yourself, then whatever is true or capable of true and divinity in you is uplifted and raised. That's what the divine does. And whatever is false and artificial, that falls away. So how is she, praying for everyone? May those who hope to attain thee seek thee in the right way. This is something used in the Upanishads. That it's not that, oh, I want the divine. All life is yoga, Sri Aurobindo has written. Therefore, I'll drink and dine and dance. And I'll find it because he has written all life is yoga. Once I had a Pandiji, not Pandiji, in Swamiji's dress, had to speak. I don't know why people call. And the topic was all life is yoga. Now he doesn't, it's not his fault. He had no clue. So he stood up on the mic and said nothing. He has said that, whether you eat, drink, everything is yoga only. So thankfully my talk was after that. So I said, yes, that is a subconscious yoga of nature. It will take you a million years to arrive. That is a yoga which is valid for animals. But man has to engage in conscious yoga. So what is conscious yoga? Seeking in the right way. So what is the wrong way of seeking Him? Is there a wrong way? Yes, we can seek the divine in just for wish fulfillment. He will do it. But strive rightly. That is the word of the Upanishad. Strive rightly. Then you will arrive. What is right striving? Many things come in that. As the sleepless, as the adepts say, it should be constantly in our background. Not like 5 minutes I'll sit and say, oh mother, I am meditating, and then get up and... No, strive rightly. All these things are aspects of it. Sincerely, to see one's own parts which have to be removed and which have to be purified. Right way. May those who seek thee find thee. Oh, wonderful it is. She has blessed it. And may those who suffer without knowing where lies the remedy feel thy life, piercing little by little the hard crust of their obscure consciousness. All suffering is due to ignorance, which is okay, one part, but man loves this suffering. Man loves his suffering, fathering his pain, and man loves this ignorance and wants to get rid of. Man loves his ignorance, fathering his pain. He loves the ignorance, but he wants pain to vanish. It's like, putting an impossible condition before the divine. So what does the divine do? His life penetrates, starts entering little by little. You know what is this image of life penetrating through the obscure layer? It's literally, life is waters. So you have the image which Kalidasa experienced, that can I become really Jnani? I am a murk. I am a stupid person. How can I become really intelligent? Is it possible? And then the Divine Mother shows him that look at this, on the well, that Shila, Pathar. So look at the drops of water as they come, they have left a mark, dent on the rock. And there is a doha also on it, but that is with regard to rassi. I don't know whether olden times people used to pull water from the well. So one was, later on the pulley system came. But before that you just put it and brought out the water on the stone. We all have done it. I have done it. So because the rope is passing several times, so in that stone there used to be little mark, dent. So the poet says, Karat karat abhyas ke jadmati hot sujan. Karat karat abhyas ke. If you practice, even the one who is inert, tamasic buddhi means full of darkness. Jadmati, hot sujan, develops the intelligence, the buddhi, the right kind of intelligence. Rassi Avat jaatte sil par padat nishan. Repeatedly he is striving, so even the rock, even the stone begins to give way. So he notices that. So this is where she is reminding us, there are people who suffer without knowing what is the cause. The cause is obscurity. So your life penetrate like that water. How much ever it will resist, eventually one day it will pierce through. So that's what is the image. Remedy, without knowing where lies the remedy, feel thy life piercing little by little the hard crust of their obscure consciousness. Mark her words. She has not used the word thy light. She has used the word thy life. Life is like that running water. I bow down with a deep devotion and limitless gratitude before thy beneficent splendour. This should be our constant state. Gratitude and devotion. Doesn't matter. Why people say, but why gratitude? Look at my life. You are alive, no? So what's great about the life? If you are alive, you have hope. The fact that you are alive, that means you have a work to do. The fact that you are alive, you have a chance of changing everything in your destiny. This is life, the power of life. So if you have gratitude that, oh, I got up in the morning, I am alive. I am alive, wonderful. So the first thing is gratitude. Second is devotion. Why devotion? Through devotion, we connect ourselves to that which is the source of all things. What is the opposite of devotion? Arrogance. Oh God, you are there. But you know what miserable poor creatures you have made us to be? So poor fellow, he listens, he has no choice. And what we are doing? He is sending light. We are turning away with our attitude slowly, slowly, slowly. Now we don't see the light even more. So we say, see, you have created darkness. He's saying, my child, turn towards me. No, 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 I don't believe in you. So instead of that, you have devotion. So when you have devotion, you have humility. You have love, and it becomes the bridge between you and the divine, and then the divine pours everything. It's not that divine wants you to be devoted to him because, some people believe, oh, he must be egoistic, he wants you to pray. He is perfectly fine. He given a choice, he will run away from all the devotees. First thing. But he still allows it. It's grace that devotion exists upon earth. It is Sri Krishna who brought devotion to earth. Before that, in the age of the Upanishad, you have mainly jnana. Imagine how tough it would have been. All the rishis just growing a beard and then, sitting in meditation. Living in those jungles. Is it an easy life? But Sri Krishna said, I will teach you a simpler way. What is the simpler way? Just love me. When I give the call of the flute, just come. What do you want us to do? What new asana and meditation and pranayam you have got? Nothing. But we must do something, yes, dance to my tune. When I play the flute, dance. Otherwise you'll spend time in, okay, sir, flute kis cheez ka bana hai? What is this material? Is it metal or is it wood? Which raga are you playing? Krishna will say, you dance, you forget, later on you'll know the raga. Are you sure? But why is that person also dancing? He is my enemy. How come he is also called? He may be your enemy, but he has come. Lucky he. Sir, are you sure this dance will lead me to Vrindavan? By then, Krishna has played his flute and gone. And along with him, those who were dancing have gone. And you are saying, see, God doesn't answer your question. So this should not be the state. The state should be, I bow down with a deep devotion and limitless gratitude. In the name of the earth, why she has to do this? Because the earth never feels grateful. In the name of the earth, I thank thee for manifesting thyself. Because she has seen the manifestation. So she is identified with the earth. Many of her prayers are written in identification with the earth consciousness. Because man will not have these things. So she has become man, human, and she is praying so that through her humanity can be, redeemed. Somebody has to represent that human element. The avatar represents on one side the divine element, on one side the human element. So she represents the earth and says, I implore thee, I thank thee. In her name, in the name of the earth, I implore thee that thou mayest manifest evermore in an uninterrupted increase of light and love. So there is no end to this manifestation. The manifestations of today are become the bonds of tomorrow. Then tomorrow has to move forward. When we remain stuck to the past, that is how ritualistic religions are born. You remain stuck to that Chandra Dasha and this dosha and that this thing. It was okay at one point of time. Now, all muhurta are God muhurt because that's how the evolution of man has taken place. Earlier, when man was still, in his infancy, he needed something very external, tangible form. And those forms were in corresponding to his inner state. Now you discover the Supreme is inside your body. A truth that Gita, Shri Krishna revealed to man. The Upanishads, some of the Upanishads reveal that. And Sri Aurobindo and the mother say, the Supreme is inside you. Find him inside. And then she says that, why should you find him? For greater and greater manifestation. All creation is his manifestation, but you have to move from the lower to the higher. That's what somebody asked Sri Aurobindo. Everything is done by the Divine Mother. He says, yes, but normally it is done through the veil of the lower nature. She is there, even there, but hidden. But in the higher nature, she is revealed. So we must move from the lesser to the greater. This is man's journey. Yes, everything is done by the Divine Mother, but there is something more she wants to do. So we should move on to that. Be the sovereign master of our thoughts, our feelings, and our acts. How beautiful this is. Basically, it means what we should think what you want us to think. We should feel what you want us to feel. We should act what you want us to, the way you want us to act. We should will what you want us to will. So be the sovereign master. And also, other way also, whatever we are doing, ultimately you are the Lord. You are the Supreme. You take care, you take charge. All these thoughts, feelings, will, actions done in ignorance are offered at thy feet. Thou art the reality of our being, the sole reality. It means to remind ourselves day and night, day and night, day and night, day and night, that we are none else but the divine in disguise. If we remind ourselves, one day, probably he will say, yes, my child. But if we say, no, 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 we are useless creatures, there are two kinds of, illusions. One is that ego, tamasic ego, we are useless, worthless, no good. How we will reach God? So far, so big, so high. You will reach God. It's your destiny because He has become you. You have no option, by the way. So, but tamasic ego will look at one part of nature. We are incapable. Yes, but He is all capable. That it will not show you. Or rajasic ego. I'll do everything by my own effort. I'll meditate for 6 hours and see I'll find God. Say, okay. You will meditate for 6 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, 24 hours, for 1,000 years, as they say, and you will get up with 10 head Ravana. So that is where we have to understand. So she is revealing to us, see how beautiful this is. Thou art the reality of our being, the sole reality. There is nothing else but you. Outside thee, all is falsehood and illusion, all is mournful obscurity. So the question arises, what is outside the divine? Because the divine is all things. So here she is making a reference to this. This again, there beautifully there in the Gita. The divine is in all things, even in the least atom of existence, every activity, the divine is there. So then, what is outside? Outside is in the fields of nature. There is ultimately nothing which can be said outside. But from the divine impulsion, as it goes more and more to the surface, it begins to go further and further away from the divine. Till a point comes when it becomes as if it has lost contact with the divine. So outside is everything that is no more conscious of its contact with the divine, that becomes outside. And if you live life like that, then what we will experience in life? Falsehood, illusion. The same activity, but done with contact with the divine and not in contact with the divine. However high it may seem, it will be an illusion. In thee is life, light, and joy. In thee is the sovereign peace. So He is the source of all things and is constantly moving forward. So we should turn to the source, and in the manifestation we should move always forward and forward. And for this we should consecrate our life to Him with devotion and gratitude, and aspire for the ever new, higher, more beautiful, truer manifestations, and constantly seek His help in all that we think and feel and do. This is the gist of the prayer. I'll read again and then we'll stop. January 1st, 1914. To Thee, Supreme Dispenser of all boons. Mother was asked what we can expect from you. She said everything. What you expect from us? Nothing. Supreme Dispenser of all boons. To Thee, Supreme Dispenser of all boons. To Thee who justifiest life by making it pure, beautiful and good. Master of our destinies and goal of our aspirations, was consecrated the first minute of this new year. He can give everything if we live with this faith. He gives everything. Actually, if we go into the reality, we'll see He alone gives. So Sri Aurobindo was asked, why does He give sometimes things which we desire for? He says, so that you can have the experience and realize that it was not worth it. He can play a game but He is the one who dispenses everything. May it be wholly glorified by this consecration. May those who hope to attain Thee seek Thee in the right way. May those who seek Thee find Thee. And may those who suffer without knowing where lies the remedy feel Thy life piercing little by little the hard crust of their obscure consciousness. I bow down with a deep devotion and limitless gratitude before Thy beneficent splendour. In the name of the earth, I thank Thee for manifesting Thyself. In a name, I implore Thee that Thou mayst manifest evermore in an uninterrupted increase of light and love. Be the sovereign master of our thoughts, our feelings, and our acts. Thou art the reality of our being, the sole reality. Outside Thee, all is falsehood and illusion. All is mournful obscurity. In Thee is life, light, and joy. In Thee is the sovereign peace. Namaste.